Well, Morgan, this was actually the second time that review board has met since it was created back in April. This is all that's left of this man's home after that tornado hit last Monday onto the ground. And if you look in this window right here, it looks like that was a bedroom right there that someone was in earlier today, completely burned out, crashing the inside. And you can even see that one of these branches has gone through the window. And as you can see, there's a lot of damage here at this home. The roof is on the ground now. You can see inside some of these apartment units where people have lost their possessions here. You can look at this balcony here and you can see that the siding here is melted. Alumni, students, faculty, staff here. You can see that there's a stage set up here where people can come up there and showcase their talents. We've got some people here who are just taking pictures. We've been hearing that message time and time again. If you see water, turn around, don't drown. This mobile morgue can hold up to 16 bodies, and that's especially important right now because they're running out of room to house those bodies. Friday, June 10th, 2022 is the day Danny Mills, his wife Heather, and their 3 children have been waiting for 330 days. He's finally going home after a long and hard-fought battle with COVID-19. But they'll never forget the day that started this 330-day journey, July 15th, 2021.
Well, I'd been feeling bad for a couple days before that, and it finally got to the point where I was having trouble breathing. And I told my wife, I said, I want to go to the hospital.
We went and got one of the little finger pulsometers, and it showed a pretty low reading on his oxygen level. So that's when we decided.
Danny was admitted to Northport Medical Center believing he'd only be there a short time.
The funny part is, the doctor at one of the doctors at Northport came in and told me, he said, expect to be in ICU for 7 days. And I thought to myself, 7 days? I can't be out of work for 7 days. They showed me.
Danny and Heather managed to find humor in the serious situation, but that week turned into 2. And while Danny did eventually leave Northport as doctors predicted, it was only to be admitted to UAB Hospital, where he'd spend the next 315 days.
So we went from thinking we'd be there a couple days to not knowing if I'd ever get to see him.
But she held on to her faith, praying Danny home.
We're grateful for what was done, and
for the gift of life.
I want to sit down and have a meal all together. It's been way too long.
Okay, these are the bullet hole, which is 1, 2, 3 here, and this is my dining room.
It was a rude awakening for Betty Cody and her brother Gary.
And my brother started hollering, Bet, get on the floor. So at that time, a bullet had went through his bedroom.
That bullet missing her brother's head by just inches, one of several that ripped through the house shortly after 2 o'clock Friday morning, shattering glass everywhere. Cody says the entire ordeal lasted just a few seconds.
The police, they came out and they looked and they said it was 2 different guns that shot into my house, and like he told me, he said, Miss Cody, I think they may have had the wrong house.
Cody has been living at the house on 34th Avenue North for nearly 26 years and says nothing like this has ever happened.
It makes you feel unsafe. You don't know whether they are coming back or what. We don't know whether they are shooting at us or what, but we haven't did anything to anybody. Mostly elderly people live around here, so we haven't had a problem with nobody, so I don't understand. Why would someone shoot my house up like this?
But despite that fear, Cody says she has no plans of leaving.
No, I'm not going to let nobody run me away from my home. I've been here too long, so I'm not going to go to running from nobody. I just want to know, was it meant for my house?
Gave the people money.
6-year-old Justin Adams was a little shy as he explained why he wanted to donate money to the people of Fultondale.
So they have stuff to buy.
But his compassion and desire to give was anything but timid. Tell me how you're feeling right now after you did such a special thing yesterday.
Happy.
Justin and his grandmother made the drive from Calera. When they got to Fultondale, Justin requested to speak to the mayor, who says he was honored to receive the donation.
This is what he handed me, and said that he wanted it to go to the people that was in need. You know, that was his savings, and that's what he wanted to do with his savings. And he wanted to be involved just like everybody else.
And helping others seems to run in the family. Justin's father is a paramedic and his mother is a nurse. His grandmother, Rhonda Johnson, was packing up supplies to take to Fultondale when Justin asked if he could help.
Justin says, "Can I give them the money out of my piggy bank?" And I said, "Sure." So we went and got his money out of his piggy bank to take up there.
It just makes us extremely proud of him, you know, proud that he's stepping up, supporting the community, and, you know, hopefully starting a good legacy of things to come.
New tonight, Uvalde, Texas School District Police Chief Pedro Pete Arredondo has resigned his seat on the town's city council. In his resignation letter, he says city officials and staff, quote, must continue to move forward without distractions, end quote, and that he feels this is the best decision for Uvalde. Arredondo has been at the center of the firestorm as the investigation into the tragedy reveals law enforcement waited outside a classroom for 77 minutes while the shooter was inside. Turning now to weather, our 4th of July weekend is off to a hot start, but how is the rest of the week shaping up? And Lauren, we might also be looking at the tropics as well. All right, Lauren, it's the 4th of July weekend, and for many people that means getting out of town to celebrate. AAA says 42 million Americans will drive at least 50 miles away from home this weekend. Many people are choosing to drive instead of flying because worker shortages mean delays at airports.
We are still dealing with a lot of shortages, a lot of that being residual from the pandemic era. And so that could play into people's decision making, whether to choose to fly or drive to their destination. I think a lot of people are really taking that into consideration. And, you know, they're probably evaluating maybe, you know, a 4-hour drive is an easier route to take than possibly being canceled or delayed and waiting hours at the airport.
And all those drivers are paying an average of $4.82 for a gallon of gas. The new Alabama Aviation High School is kicking off its fall semester by taking students on a trip through the clouds. Auburn Aviation hosted a group of newly enrolled students for a 4-day aviation and aerospace exposure experience at Auburn this week. Many of the students got the opportunity to take their very first flights. Others saw the ins and outs of mechanical aviation and aerospace engineering. Founder Ruben Morris said the school is designed to give students real-life experiences in aviation, and the trip to Auburn did just that.
We wanted to set the groundwork. If you have never been on a college campus or specifically never been to Auburn, why not start your high school experience with the vision of that in 4 years, I could be here. And not only that, I could be training to be a pilot or an aerospace engineer and help to meet the demand.
Sounds pretty cool. The Alabama Aviation High School is still enrolling 9th graders right now. You can start the application process by visiting alaahs.org. Well, tomorrow is National Crown Day, the unofficial holiday that celebrates Afro-textured hair. And today, the local Crown campaign celebrated by honoring those making significant strides to end hair discrimination. The event took place at the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute, and 7 people were recognized for their efforts, including Jefferson County Circuit Judge Carol Smitherman. National Crown Day commemorates the signing of the first Crown Act legislation, which passed in California on July 3rd of 2019. The Crown Act stands for Create a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair. It's a law that prohibits race-based hair discrimination that denies people employment and educational opportunities because of the texture of their hair or the hairstyles they choose to wear. To date, the Crown Act, or legislation inspired by it, has been signed in 16 states, and efforts to get it passed here in Alabama are ongoing.
The reason it's important is because you don't want to have to walk into the room and change your identity. You're almost like a chameleon. You're not able to flow and be free of who you are and love yourself. You almost have to turn into somebody else to come in and do your own job.
It would be a huge victory. I think it'll give a sense of comfort and just relief for people in natural hairstyles, that they don't have to worry about how does my hair look, will this keep me from getting my dream job, will I be discriminated against this when I go into a workplace if I get braids or if I get twists or if I decide to have an afro? Because honestly, I don't think any other race has to deal with being discriminated against their hair the way we have.
Now, the U.S. House of Representatives passed the bill in March of this year at the federal level, and if approved by the Senate and the President, the law would automatically apply to all 50 states.
Kind of the standard for summertime, Chasity.
Yeah, we look forward to those little rain pops here and there.
Yes.
It kind of cool things down for a second.
They do, and if you get a rainbow, it's a good day.
Even better, even better. All right, thanks, Lauren. And thank you for joining us. We will see you back here tomorrow. Take care.